R&B diva Faith Evans is up next. What's up, everybody out there? How you doing? Thank you guys so much for tuning in over here. Let's just jump right into it. We're talking about R&B diva Faith Evans. That's right, Faith Evans' book, Keep the Faith. I finally got around to reading it. It's part of my book club for the month of July. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I really truly do appreciate it. And someone left a comment that I should check out Faith Evans' book, Keep the Faith. And sorry, it's almost the end of the month, and I'm just now giving you guys some content regarding this book and what I've, discovered about Faith Evans. First of all, I had to get into reading the book, meaning get around to making the book a priority, in my day-to-day activities. And then when I finally got around to reading the book, it was kind of like a slow read, meaning that there were just certain things in the book that I was reading that I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to talk about that. So it was until I got to the middle of the book where I was like, oh my gosh, it's getting good. And so then I didn't want to put the book down, so I just kept reading it. And so finally I'm at a place where I think I want to start talking about some things in the book. That's right, I am almost finished. This is how much I have left of the book to read. Yes, Faith Evans, Keep the Faith. Make sure you go out and get a copy of this book. It was written, released back in 2009, but that's all right. There was way back when, right? So there's a new group of people out, new people born, people who are probably still interested in R&B music, R&B divas, so on and so forth. So this is definitely a great book, okay, for you guys to go out and get it. I got my copy at Amazon. Okay. And again, got it within a week's time. All right. So make sure you go out and get a copy of this book. Also, too, for the month of June, we read Joyce Finderella Irby's book, I Still Say Yes. She is a member of Climax. Men All Pause, Meeting in the Ladies' Room, Sexy, I Still Say Yes, I Miss You. She had hits on her own. Hey, Mr. DJ, She's Not My Lover. She is responsible for bringing in artists into the music industry, such as, what's that boy named? Lloyd, Dallas Austin, Sammy. So, she is the real thing. So anyway, check her out, Amazon as well. Listen, neither of these books, okay, none of the R&B divas that I've talked about are associated with me on any level or anything like that. This is just something that I'm doing as far as learning more about my favorite R&B divas, okay? So they're not a part of this at all. I just want to put that out there. This is just for me, to get more, learn more about some R&B divas that I didn't know. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that as well. But hey, when you go out and purchase this book, because I know you're going to purchase these books, hey, let them know we're talking about them over here. Hey, you got to support them. Put some money in her pocket. Yeah, she put some money in her pocket. I know I'm going to talk about it. I already know what you're thinking. Yeah, Stevie J. Honey. Like I know. I'm going to talk about it. Promise you I'm going to talk about it. Faith, okay? But let's get into it. When you think about Faith Evans' story, three things come to mind. My mind. I don't know about you all, but my mind. That's Notorious B.I.G., right? Big. Lil Kim and Mary J. Blige. All right. Not quite so much Puff. Not P. Diddy, not Sean P. Diddy comes, Sean Puffy comes, whatever he calls himself. No, not him. You don't think, at least that doesn't come to mind. I mean, she is a bad boy artist, but I really don't, none of that comes to my mind. But those three things really and truly do stand out. All right. So what I'm going to talk about today is on page 210 in this book. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Keep the faith. Oh, Lord have mercy. And then I got a call from Kurt Burrows, the general manager at Bad Boy. That really took me over the edge and made me feel like I wanted nothing to do with Puff or anyone else on that tour. We have a problem with your album, said Kurt. What is it? The song you did with Mary, we have to take her vocals off of it. I had been standing in the kitchen at 112's apartment, preparing to make a pan of lasagna. When I heard this, I went into the living room and sat down hard on the couch. What do you mean? The album is already out. I've sold 500,000 copies. Kurt signed heavily into the phone. When we press up the next batch of records, it has to have a new version of the song on it without Mary's vocals. I thought about how Mary had ignored me at the Source Awards and wondered if it had something to do with this. I don't understand. You need to talk to Mary. I need to talk to Mary. I don't need to say ish to Mary. I didn't do anything to her. All I know is that we have to do this before the next pressing. And no one can tell me why I have to re-record this song. I'm not sure what's going on, Faith. I'm just telling you what has to happen. I never even wanted to do the song in the first place. And now I have to re-record it without Mary's vocals before my album could be restocked in stores. I was angry, but I wasn't just angry that Mary wanted her vocals off my album. I was angry that I was not in the loop as to why she would feel that way. I asked around and no one would give me a straight answer. One person told me that Mary and Puff had a disagreement about money and how much he was getting off her album as a producer, and that she ordered him to take her vocals off my album as a result. Someone else told me that she felt like Puff was trying to mold me in her image, and then people started speculating on why Puff had hired me to work on Mary's album. I'd gone to a radio station in the Midwest while in town for a few shows, and the DJ asked me if it was true that I had given Mary vocal coaching. I didn't know where that had come from, and I told him it wasn't true. But because I sang background vocals on much of her second album, that rumor persisted, and I heard that also made her upset. I tried to let it go. I went into the studio and re-recorded the song without Mary's voice, and I didn't like it at all. Even when we did the duet after several rounds of tequila, I thought Mary's voice was better suited to the song. And now that it was just me on the song, I liked it even less. I would end up not earning any royalties on that album for over 10 years until the record label was able to recoup all of the costs of re-recording and pressing up new copies of the album and removing and destroying all of the copies with Mary's vocals. But at that time, I had no time to dwell on that Mary situation. I was becoming more and more in demand as a songwriter. Okay, let's talk. I know it's firing off already in my head, y'all. I'm trying to stay focused. My mind is running and I'm trying to get it out at the same time. Okay, y'all ready? When Mary J. Blige first came out, I don't care what anybody say, it is my opinion. Hey, I was just totally, I'm a day one Mary J. Blige fan. I am. I love Mary J. Blige's music. I love her catalog. I do. Yeah, I have to admit that. My aunt put me on to Mary J. Blige. Okay, the same aunt that introduced me to a lot of people who I've talked about, on this channel. So she calls me up one day and she tells me, she was like, have you heard this song called You Remind Me? I'm like, no. And of course she plays it for me over the phone. I was like, oh wow, I like that. Then eventually she comes to visit and she has the maxi single. And I listen to it and I'm like, wow, I like the different versions of the song. Then I see the video and I was like, whoa, all right. This is it. Then she comes out with Real Love, and that was it. There was no denying Mary J. Blige at that point with Real Love. It was Real Love sealed the deal. Okay. Ooh. Even though I think that Miss Chalet is the first one to do it, that's just my opinion. I'm going to stick to it. It's my point of view, and I talk about R&B divas over here. That's just what I do. So maybe Miss Chalet, Mary J. Blige. But Faith Evans is somewhere already around in the mix, right? For those of us who do know, and now I didn't know this, but she was I guess you can say a protege of Al B. Sure. So she's already somewhere around in the business, already associated with, some of these artists in some kind of shape, form, or fashion. She either knows them or, she's worked with them, so on and so forth. It is what it is. So it's 1992 and Mary J. Blige comes out. And we all just instantly falls in love with Mary J. Blige. Like, I'm here to tell you, you can go back if you want to, and you can look at old YouTube videos and listen to her albums at the time. And, but there's nothing like being there when it's happening. And trust me, when I say, you got some hits on your hand when everybody is singing your song. I mean, everybody, and that's what it was, with me growing up at that time. I mean, everybody was on this Mary J. Blige, craze type of thing. And especially when you're in high school, like I was at the time, and you're going into your pep rallies and all that stuff, and the Mary J. Blige, that's playing, and everybody's up singing. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's what it is. And then Jodeci comes out. I'm going somewhere. Follow with me. I'm building up to this Faith Evans thing. But we have to talk about Mary J. Blige. So then after that, Jodeci comes out. I remember Jodeci when they first came out. I was like, well, who is this? I didn't like the song. But then they started to release songs on the B side of their album. And it very quickly, Forever My Lady, it took off. Okay. And Jodeci came out first, right? Then Mary J. Blige. But anyway, and so then you have KC on Mary J. Blige's album. I'm sorry, I think I mixed it up, but still. You have KC on Mary J. Blige's album. I was like, oh, we fell more in love with Jodeci at that moment in time, and definitely embraced Mary even more. So now we have Faith Evans somewhere around in the mix. She's working with everyone. And one thing that I like about Faith Evans, now Mary J. Blige is established. She's definitely got some hits in there. She's a sensation. This is a new kind of thing going on that's being, how can I put it? Publicized, not social media, but publications. Like, she's just definitely like a sensation. So by the time 1994 comes around, there is some tension between Mary J. Blige and Puff. It is what it is. We ain't even gonna go down that road because we're talking about Faith. And then, of course, she talks about the tension that she's having with KC as well. Now, what I like about Faith Evans is that Faith Evans, you can call her naive, but she reminds me of myself a little bit. Well, what do you mean? Well, if it has nothing to do with me, I might see it, I might hear it, but I kind of shrug my shoulders to it. Like, I know it's around, so on and so forth. I don't say anything to it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to pay any attention to that. I'm just here doing what it is that I do. And basically, she's not kind of saying, hey, look at me. I'm here. I could do X, Y, and Z. I'm the next best thing since sliced bread, canned peas. All right, all you, itches, you move out the way. You know what I'm saying? There's a new diva in town. I'm taking over. You know what? I'm coming out. I'm going to be a bigger songwriter than Babyface, or let's just say, I don't know, Diane Warren, or I'm going to be the next best, I'm going to be, Whitney Houston. I'm the next Aretha Franklin. Like, that's not the attitude that I'm sensing from Faith Evans, period. That's not her. She basically, as she says in her book, this is something that I want to do. I like doing. I'm going to be around it. When the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do my best with it. And then I'm going to show up. I'm going to do what I do. And then I'm going to sit my butt back down. I'm going to go back to doing what it was that I was doing before this. You see what I'm saying? And those kinds of people can be a little naive, right? You're not thinking that maybe your name is entering into rooms you would never step in. You understand what I'm saying? It's a possibility, but you're not thinking about that. You're just doing what you do. So now she's doing her thing to the point that now she gets the opportunity to showcase it, like in a product form where it's her. So Puff shows up. I like what you're doing. I'm starting a label. Would you like to, be on the label? I want to sign you. Are you interested? Well, of course I'm interested. All right. Well, you got an attorney? Yes. Attorney shows up, this, that, and the other. I get this deal. Okay. Puff and Mary are already having some riff tiffs, okay, going on at this time. It's 1994, and I don't want to make this about Puff and Puff and Mary J. Blige, but Mary J. Blige is not Bad Boy. Even though she's associated with Puff, but she's not Bad Boy. And if Puff is out of Uptown, if he's out away from MCA Records, then you will have to think that if Mary J. Blige is not going to be a part of Bad Boy, whatever Puff was able to do at Uptown, he's probably thinking, I can recreate this over here at Bad Boy. So if there's any artists over there that are not coming to Bad Boy, you best to believe someone such as Puff is probably saying, well, I need to get me one of those again. Right? It's just what it is. So you don't necessarily to think that people would be loyal in that aspect. That's kind of like a fine line. I don't know how you want to walk that line when you think about someone wanting to be loyal to someone who has helped you create something. Well, what do I mean by be loyal? Well, if you're no longer working together, it's kind of like, here's a prime example. I'm a songwriter. I just wrote a hit. Like, no, it's official. It's on the charts. Whoever this artist is, the song, let's just say the song stayed at #1 for 4 weeks. You mean to tell me as a songwriter, and this is a person I know, the artist that sings this song, I know this artist. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like we went through the grind together to get, in the business. You mean to and let's say, for instance, whatever happens, that artist went, his or her way, and then I went my way, just because of the opportunities that come, to us. You mean to tell me you don't think that I'm going to try to write another hit song that's going to be #1 for 4 weeks in a row? Or even longer for the next artist? You don't think that I probably would try to take a little bit of what I did with that artist to bring it over into the other song? I mean to tell you, I ain't no need me lying. There are a lot of singer-songwriters, but I take that back. There are a lot of songwriters and producers out there. I promise you, Even though they have a lot of hits, when I listen to their songs in their catalog, I'm saying to myself, it's like the same song over and over again. It's the same track. We'll talk about that one day. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Do you get what I'm saying? So you can't necessarily not Puff for that. He is, let's just say, you know, some people might question it, but let's just say he is a creative individual. That's what he do. He creates, okay? And that's what all of us do. You know, I can do this again. Doesn't bother me, right? So we need to understand that part, you know, honestly. So while Puff and Mary's relationship probably be one that is kind of torn or is tearing apart at this moment in time for whatever reasons from a creative standpoint, I think at the time you're probably not thinking about it, but we must understand he is probably going to try to find him another Mary J. Blige or at least another female singer. Now, he might have some good intentions and bad intentions as far as like, you know what, I'm going to forget that. I can replace this. You see what I'm saying? Like, I could get me another artist who is another Mary J. Blige. So now Faith Evans, as naive as she's probably is about not paying attention to things, because as I said, she's kind of like me. I know it's there. I try not to pay any attention to it. You know, it's just what it is. But now, and everybody, oh, you're great, Faith. We like your songs. We like your sound. We like your voice. We like all these things about you. But at the same time, it's great and it's wonderful. But some of these people, you're probably not in their lane at this moment in time. Like you're probably venturing out and doing things, but you're not necessarily in their lane. Even if you're creating a lane for yourself, you could cross paths with people and you like, okay, you're in my lane. So then she gets the opportunity to record her album. And now people are saying some things about her sounding like Mary J. Blige. And I am one of those people. I really thought You Used to Love Me was Mary J. Blige when I first heard it. Now, at this time, Mary J. Blige has a lot of criticism going on from a performance, I guess you could call it, a standpoint, from an artist standpoint. When I first heard Be Happy, I was hooked. I got to get this album. Of course, I purchased the single, waiting for the album to come out. When the album came out, I got the album. When I played the album, I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like the thing that I dislike most about the album is the thing that I like about the album. I like all the songs on the album of My Life. But I'm like, my gosh, she gonna sample another song? You know, it was, and then when I finally got around to reading some, you know, reviews on the album, about the album, critics were saying the same thing, like this album is heavily sampled. I was like, gosh. So she has that. She has the things that's probably going on between her and KC. She has the things going on between her and Puff. She has all of these things going on. And maybe at the time where she's probably finding some relief with her, you know, possible relationships, but that's a sense of normalcy, I would call it, with probably being around Faith Evans. It's still not knocking on her door or it's being presented to her in a particular way. And that is now, wait a minute, she has a song out. Everybody's saying it sounds like me. She's another version of me. I don't like this. And if Faith is as naive as she claims to be about, I'm not paying attention to these things. I'm just doing what I love to do. She's not intentionally stepping on toes, but she is unintentionally probably stepping on toes or finding herself in the crossfire, if you will. So I can see how this between Mary J. Blige and Faith Evans just came to a halt. Isn't that interesting? I was about to say something, I'm not going to say that. So who knows what happened? And I'm reading the book, so it could come back out in the book, or I could just stumble across it, in the future. Maybe, Faith and Mary J. probably has had this conversation by now about why her vocals were taken off of her album. But it very well could be that Puff and Mary J. Blige had this back and forth about a lot of things. She could have confronted him about why she sounded like me. Why does she look like me? Why are people saying all these things about me? You don't know what Puff can say to her. You don't know what people are saying to her. Some people can say one thing about you, her to you, and then you see what I'm saying. Then say something to you about her, and yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because now it becomes let's divide and conquer. All right. Let's do that. It's time to now divide and conquer. Well, if everybody's going around here saying she sounds like me and I'm getting vocal coaching from her and all of that, if that's what everybody's saying, then you know what? I just don't want my name on. I don't even want my voice on her album. Take it off right now. You no longer have permission. Take it off. That could have been her. It could have been Puff saying, well, you know what? I tell you what, then at this moment in time, you know what? If you feel that way and you ain't trying to pay me, whatever I'm supposed to be getting the producer fee, so on and so forth, then I tell you what, then, you know what? I'm taking your name. I'm taking you off the album. Whatever. It happened is what I'm saying. This is interesting. I don't know. I got quiet. I might be done. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that I'm right in this? I mean, after all, you're talking about the entertainment industry. I'm going to throw out I'm just going to throw this out. Is it insecurity? On anyone's part, just in general, not with Mary, Faith, Puff, anything. No, just in general. Is it insecurity? Let's look at it this way. Mary J. Blige is already established. She's in her second album. Faith is about to come out with her first. Would it be more flattering for Faith to be told she sounds like Mary than for Mary to say she sounds like Faith? That's interesting. Very, very interesting. But I didn't know because I didn't go back. So I didn't know that the song, her vocals was actually taken off. That's what I didn't know. I didn't know after all these years. So I didn't know that there was a version of Love Don't Live Here Anymore that was a different, that was only Faith Evans vocals. I will say this, I didn't like the song myself. I like Rose Royce version of the song, but it's not a song even for Rose Royce. It's not a song that I play in their catalog all the time. It's not one of those songs that I play at all. And then to think that I think it would be more suited for Mary J. Blige. I do. When I'm thinking about I'm Going Down. To put these two together. Let's talk about this last thing and I'll be done. The vocal coaching. This is the thing that bothers me, you know, about a lot of things. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if Faith Evans gave Mary J. Blige some vocal lessons, you know, on particular songs. Don't vocals have to be produced? I'm just asking. I mean, don't people have to learn how to do certain things? See, there's a difference in your approach to something because everybody has to learn it. Whether if you're self-taught or someone taught you, you had to learn it. Yeah, some people actually have these gifts and these abilities, and, you know, it is what it is. Some people do, not everybody. You know, some just have to continue to be, you know, you have to hone your skills. The majority of the people. But isn't there a difference? Like, oh yeah, man, you know what? She, you know, I'm just throwing it out there. Like Mary, you know, she had a difficult times with, you know, singing in a particular key, so on and so forth. This particular person, you know what? Yeah, you know, I had to assist him in how to write and structure the songs. Doesn't matter. Oh, he didn't know anything. You know, I taught him everything, you know, he knows. Thank you. It's like, you see, it's all about how you say it. You know, it's one of those things, you know, your parents would say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And how people come to you about it. You know, it's just interesting. I don't know. But anyway, you know, I try to keep these videos down to 30 minutes. It's interesting. Well, over here, you already know if you made it to this part of the video, then I think that it's appropriate for me to just say, hey, you guys, hang out with me. Hit that subscribe button. You know, leave a comment. Tell me what you think. You know, it is what it is. You know, I believe over here in putting your behind where your heart desires to be. And whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember I love you, but God loves you best. And on that note, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next video. And until then, you know what to do. Take care of yourselves. I know I will.